Fantastic. Cool. All right, well, let's just see what's going on with chat. It has been a very long time since I've had an opportunity to do this. Had a chance today, so I thought, all right, let's jump in and spend some time together. See if we can't improve everyone's chances at succeeding on YouTube. So let's see. JT Halo 9 says, hey. Millis Construction says, evening, evening. Yeah, I guess it's not quite evening here. It's afternoon. It's about 3 p.m. where I am. I'm on the west coast of Canada in Vancouver. Yeah, this is worldwide, so wherever you are, good morning, good evening, and good night. Let's see, hopefully we got the music stuff sorted. Thank you, Stupid Robot Fighting League, for helping me with that. Yeah, clipping, what you describe clipping to be, I would call spiking. Clipping is normally, in my understanding, is like if it's running over itself or it's getting cut off. But maybe clipping might be the proper audio term. I'm not really an audiophile. I know enough to have, I think, good sound on YouTube, and I know no more than that when it comes to sound. Backpacking the World says hi. Let's see here. Yeah, I messed with the music while I was trying to figure it out. So I just need to be pulled back a touch. Yeah, so I've now got the desktop audio set to not full max when it's on. So hopefully that'll be good. Sounds fine. Do you have some level meters you can look at? I do in OBS. I'm still using OBS. I'm looking at transitioning to something that can stream across multi-platforms, but I haven't really learned it yet. I'm still kind of needing to find some time to spend on that. Let's see. Como di Jubar Toto had some monkeys with wrenches. That's funny. You just want the levels getting close to but not hitting the red. And let's see. My levels right now are in the green, occasionally touching yellow. All right. You just want to... Backpacking the World says, can we get a channel review? Yes, you can. All right. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to go for today. I'm going to shoot for our good old, you know... I used to do 2 hours. I think I can probably do at least an hour today. I'm not sure. So I'm going to cap the free channel review to 30 minutes as I do. If you want a channel review and I don't happen to get to you today, you can pay to have one done. I'm normally cagey about the price. These days I'm charging about 25 bucks US. But that price can change. That's just at the current moment, as of today, what I would charge for a paid review. That would include me doing a 45 to 60 minute video that I post on this channel, where I would review your channel, give you specific action items that you can take. I would link to your channel in the info card description and end screen. That way you can go back and watch as many times as you want. You can go back like months and years later, compare where you were at, and also maybe get a little bit of exposure by being on the channel that way. So if that's something someone's interested in, reach me on Facebook Messenger. You can message me directly on Instagram or Twitter. Those are probably the 3 best ways. And depending on my life, I normally turn it around within a couple of days. 3 days, generally speaking. So if that's something you're interested in. So today I'll be doing free reviews, which will only last 30 minutes. I cap them so I don't spend forever on one channel because people get pissed at me in chat when I do that. All right, just giving a quick scan to chat to make sure that everything's been fine since I turned up my audio. Yes, okay, cool. So let's get into the first channel review. Now, couple ground rules. No bullying in the chat, for one thing. I had one live stream before where somebody spent half an hour bullying me. Not going to be tolerating that kind of behavior again. Also, I'm not going to watch any videos, and I'm going to have my desktop audio completely shut off because I don't want to get into copyright issues, and I don't want anyone thinking I'm trying to host their content. I'm not. I'm just trying to help you grow your channel. And so that's generally how it works. Please don't use the chat to promote your channel, but you can certainly ask for a channel review. I think that's mostly the ground rules. Everything else is probably in the description. I don't know. It's an old description. I need to update it. But it probably covers the usual ground rules. So what I like to do is I start off by doing a little search for the channel in question. Because one thing I noticed that many YouTubers, large and small, forget is that your channel is out there to be searched on its own. It's not just your videos. And so I take that little, unique perspective. So as I'm going through this, some things about my YouTube, it might look a little different than yours. I'm using Firefox. I have YouTube in dark mode, and I have YouTube Premium so that I don't get ads popping up. As well, I have the TubeBuddy browser plugin installed, and I have a legend level license. But a lot of what you're going to see me using today, you can get with the free version as well. So there's an affiliate link down below. If you don't have TubeBuddy, I strongly, strongly recommend it. This live stream is not sponsored by anyone but myself. But it's just something I use every single day, and it solves a lot of YouTube problems. Oh, I forgot to start the clock. clock. So I'm starting the clock now. But yeah, that's just how this may look different. And I do strongly recommend you get the TubeBuddy plugin if you don't already have it, and you can play the home game of what we're doing today. So starting off, I did search the channel name, and so the first two results that come up without doing any filtering or anything I see are a couple of videos, but not from the channel in question. However, it looks like the third thing is the channel in question. Let me just check the icon here from chat. Yeah, that looks like a match. So that looks like the channel we're looking for, Backpacking the World. I like the channel name. It's good for a couple of reasons. It instantly tells people what you're about, and it has pretty good SEO on it. So don't change that name unless you completely change the nature of your channel, which I don't recommend doing. And so I imagine this is a travel channel, and I run Vacation Impossible, a travel channel as well. So this is possibly somewhat in my bailiwick here. So let's see here. Okay, so those who have joined us before know that I am ruthless when it comes to channel descriptions. Now, a lot of people, they write their channel description when they first sign up to YouTube, and I don't think anyone enjoys it. I don't think anyone says, ooh, I get to write a description today. If you know that person, I would like to meet them, because I would be very fascinated by a person who gets excited about something like that. But it's like, on a dating app or a social media profile, whatever, I think generally speaking, people are like, I'm not here to write descriptions. If I had a blog, I could do that or something like that's where I would go to write. And I do writings on Patreon, by the way, patreon.com/vacationimpossible, about YouTube and travel and my life and all sorts of stuff. Some of it's funny, post unique pictures, stuff like that. But that having been said, I think that when it comes to writing your channel description, we need to be ruthless. We need to be tactical, strategic, effective. As you can see here in the search results, you only get like 2 lines before it cuts you off. And so you got to make sure that every character in those first 2 lines is primo. And so I will be ruthless, full disclosure. I'm not out to hurt anyone's feelings, but if I just sit here and only say nice things, that doesn't help you very much. So here's the part where I go brutal, and people who've watched before, they see that there's one of sort of the cardinal sins of channel description, because it begins with hi everyone, and that is a waste of space. Because it's not providing information. It is not searchable. Like, if you searched hi everyone into YouTube, like let's do it. Actually, you know what? Let's do something even better. I'm going to go in my TubeBuddy, and I'm going to check Keyword Explorer and see just how good a keyword hi everyone is. I'm suspecting this is going to be bad. It really should be bad. Yeah, poor weighted for my channel. It's actually fair for unweighted, which is shocking to me. But seriously, it's ridiculous. The number of videos in the search results, 83.5 million. Be different. That's my advice. Don't be like 83.5 million other things out there. And it's shocking to me that 70,000 people are actually searching this every month. That blows my frickin' mind. But nevertheless, don't do it. It does not convey information. Hi everyone doesn't tell me what your channel is about, and it's not a keyword that is tied into backpacking the world, as a concept. So it's conversational, it's fine. You can say it at the top of your videos if you want. You could even make it how you begin every video if you like. But it doesn't translate into text. It is rhetorical filler. If you see that in an email, do you really stop and read it? Does it get your attention? Does it change your attitude about anything? Does it inspire you to subscribe, like, reply, any of that? No, it doesn't. So, I've been brutal there and I apologize. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but at the same time, not great. I'm just going to quickly check my video feed. Yeah, I think everything's looking okay there. So, take that out. We are a Danish couple from the southern part of Denmark that have bought a van. And so that's great. You could even drop we are and just start a Danish couple from southern Denmark, maybe. Just, again, to make every character count and get as much in before you get cut off as possible. A Danish couple from southern Denmark that bought a van would be fine. You have an exclamation point followed by a period. I don't think that is proper punctuation, so keep the exclamation point, have some energy, that's fine, but don't do both. The plan is to move into... The plan is a little problematic because it sounds like, okay, in the future will be interesting, but right now we're just thinking about it. And again, I'm being ruthless here, but I'm trying to see this from the perspective of a very critical audience person. A total stranger who is lazy. This is one thing I think YouTubers need to embrace, is the fact that your audience is lazy. And so that means, and that's not a bad thing. Another word for lazy is efficient. It's knowing what you want and not wanting to overpay, both in terms of effort, time, and money. Those are all good things. So let's see that as a virtue. We have a virtuous audience out there who are lazy AF. But how can we use this knowledge about our audience, this almost market research? Take my word for it, people are lazy. I don't know that I need a chart to back that up. Sorry, I'm just going to get rid of that notification there. So if that's the case, we want to make things as easy for them as possible. And we want to be enticing as possible. We want to show our value as quickly as possible. And so beginning something with the plan is to move into, I don't think is that great because it's only future looking. If you set something more in the present tense, like you're currently in the middle of an adventure or starting an adventure, that's great. So rather than saying the plan, and that's the other thing, is the plan is, it's a little redundant. You could probably cut that out. We'll move into our van and tour the world, whatever you're going to say. And so if you can say it in fewer words, but to get more of those keywords in there and more information and value early on, that will help with your lazy audience who really need to be sold on you right away to even click on anything. Because, again, they're lazy, and even a click is sometimes too much for people. That might sound a little salty, but if we understand it, then we can use that information and that knowledge. One thing I'll point out about your channel name is you'll see here on the Search Explorer plugin, on the right-hand side here, my TUBEBUDDY plugin, it does give your channel name a 56 out of 100, a good. And so that just backs up my theory that I think your channel name is fantastic. So let's just dive in here. You've got 19 videos and 447 subscribers. I don't believe in ratios. I don't think you should compare, sub to view numbers and things like that. All these numbers are unrelated to a certain degree. That having been said, that's a decent subscriber count for the number of videos you've posted. So that's a positive. So let's just go in here. I'm going to pause this channel trailer here. Okay. I'm just going to quickly scan over chat to make sure that I haven't totally broken the internet. No, I don't think I've done that yet. Cool. All right. So here we go. We've got some stuff going on. Follow our full-time van life. So in your banner, you have an ask. You have a CTA, a call to action. And despite what you may have heard, I really recommend against leading with a call to action. There was actually someone in our Facebook group earlier today who had a really insightful comment. And if you're not in our Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/small YouTubers boost. Over 351,000 small YouTubers. Great opportunity to collaborate, learn from each other, commiserate when things suck, and celebrate those successes and those milestones. And so somebody in the group earlier today made an interesting point. They said that, asking someone to do something right away, they were using I was ranting about people who say, grow up my channel, which is like bad grammar and I hate it. But they were saying people who ask you to subscribe to support me as the only text they put in a post, which happens often, and we reject. We don't allow that kind of stuff because it adds no value. It's not searchable. People need to know what they're clicking on. But people say it a lot in posts in other group, in comments, in other places. And so what are we doing when we say subscribe to my channel to support me? That's like walking into a business. If you're a salesperson, maybe you're selling funnels or something, let's say, or maybe you're a TUM salesman, video stream not sponsored, and you go in and you don't even tell them what you're selling. And you just say, hey, can you buy lots of my products so I can buy a house, please? That would be awesome, thanks. And so when we have a CTA at the top, it's versions of that. Now, you are including information about your channel, so it's not that you're concealing everything, but at the same time, you're saying follow our full-time van life. I would just drop the follow hour, and I would just say full-time van life. Because I think that's good. I think full-time's worth keeping, because sometimes when I hear about these van channels, I'm like, are they living part-time? Is this their weekend thing? Or do they really, that's their house? They had to get a P.O. box because they've got no permanent mailing address. What's going on? So I think full-time van life, I think, would work. I would drop the follow hour. Also because follow is a term more so for Twitter, because, we follow people on Twitter, but on YouTube we subscribe, and on Instagram we follow, on LinkedIn, I forget what it's called. Yeah, we follow on Facebook, but it's an intermittent term. And I also know that it's a generic term, like just, hey, follow what we're up to. It's not necessarily that technical specifics, but I just don't think the follow our adds value. So I'd go just full-time van life. I think it'd make the image a little cleaner too. And so we've got the picture of the van there, the two of you standing in front of it. I'm presuming that there's a sunset back there. We've got the water, the road, the picnic bench, what looks like somebody maybe did some donuts in the field there if you look very carefully, which is kind of awesome. So I like the image. The image is pretty good. In terms of image quality, it does look a little grainy because I think it probably was taken at sunset, so the lighting might not have been great. And so I think that's great, but if you have an opportunity to take another similar picture at a higher resolution with slightly better lighting, it might look a little better and a little bit more professional. But for now, I think it is very good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to totally crap on this. This is a great shot. You've got some social links that you've set up properly, which is fantastic. You've got your website, and it's pulling the ICO file. Well done, you. And you've got a link to Facebook and to Instagram. I want to check the Facebook link here. Does that come across? That does come across. Cool. All right, and so that is your page. Excellent. Well linked. Now let's take a quick look at the Instagram, just for fun. Looks like you had to put an underscore under backpacking the world. I imagine that's because the other one was taken. Let's take a look here. Yeah, okay. And that one only has 225 followers. You are at 11,000 followers. Doesn't that just stick in your craw? Honestly, doesn't that piss you off? That you've had more success, presumably because you've put more effort into it, perhaps even spent a little money in, camera equipment and traveling and things like that, and yet you have to have the underscore on that name there. The reason I'm mentioning this is because for those of you watching who don't have an Instagram account, go sign up now to lock down your username so you don't get stuck with having to have an underscore at the end. If you guys appear on a podcast as a guest, and you probably know the common trend on podcasts is they say, where can people find you? And you say, oh, on Facebook we're this, on YouTube we're that. And you've got to say, on Instagram we're backpacking the world, but put an underscore at the end. And I don't know about you, but that would piss me off. I wish I didn't have to do that. Now maybe one day you'll grow to a sufficient brand size that you can get verified, and that will help, but the URL is going to stay the same. And so that's not a message so much for you as for everybody else watching. This is why I tell people, go sign up for everything. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, and lock down those usernames and those URLs now, even if you don't know how to use the platform, even if you don't have time for the platform. Because if you become an overnight success while you're sleeping, somebody on the other side of the world might create an account and pretend to be you and start siphoning off your traffic, making money off of you, selling products or, Bitcoin or something, accepting donations, whatever, and tarnishing your good name. And so again, not so much for this particular channel review, but for everyone else watching, try to protect your brand by doing that. Now, one thing I noticed is you got your consistent look here, which is fantastic. Let me just double check. I think you had that on the Facebook as well. The Facebook, how old am I? No, that's different. That lines up with the ICO file from your website. That's interesting. I'm going to check the website for just half a second. I normally don't do this. Interesting. Okay. The picture was there and then it reset, now it's down here. Okay, obviously I don't speak this language. So one thing I would think is maybe decide if you want to go with this as your primary channel icon, or if you want to go with this selfie. Well, it's not really selfie because two people are in it, but you get the idea. So one of the reasons I mention that is because when someone like Instagram says to themselves, and I'm anthropomorphizing here, it might be a person, might be an algorithm, but there's often part of the process where it says to itself, is this the real deal, and are they a professional brand, and are they consistent? And so one of the things that is quite common for platforms to do is to go look at other social media platforms to see if they have the same font and color scheme and logo and pictures and content type, and if it's consistent across things, then they say, okay, this is professional, this is probably the real deal, it's consistent, this is them, the other accounts don't look like them, like the fake accounts, so I'll give them that verified check mark. And so that is sort of a technical reason why it's good to have a consistent logo. The other reason is it's just more professional. It makes you more recognizable for your audience, not just the platforms, but the people. And so that's important as well. So you've got something set up here as a channel trailer, and it's about 1 minute and 4 seconds long. So that's right in the sweet spot. For those of you who don't have a channel trailer, you're going to want something between 30 and 90 seconds. So this is right in the sweet spot there. And so that's good. Van life trailer, full-time van life. Your channel trailer video title looks really solid. I feel like you've done some SEO research, or at least thought about it there. Title is solid. Again, the description, welcome to our channel. I already lectured you about that, but also with video descriptions, it's the same thing as what I was talking about with channel descriptions. Your first 3 lines or so, the first bit they see before it gets cut off, is critical. You don't want to waste any space on anything that doesn't provide value, entice people, or provide SEO value. And welcome to our channel. Like, I'm gonna search it. I want to know. Oh, TubeBuddy. So I use this every day. I can't go like 5 minutes without using this dang thing. Welcome to our channel. What do we got? Poor, 12. That's higher than I would give it. 88.9 million videos have that. Don't you want to be different than the other guys? And interest is declining over time. And only 2,000 people search it against 89 million videos. So from an SEO standpoint, that is kind of a waste of space, not to put it too harshly. This year we move into our Opel Movano. It's good. That's probably good SEO on that. To try out permanent van life and to fulfill our dream about visiting every single country in Europe. That's awesome. I love that. Why do you make people wait through welcome to our channel before we get that? That's the good stuff. Jump right to it. Not to harp on it or anything. On the way down through Europe, we will give you a lot of tips about what to see, what to be aware of when living in a van, and much more. Before all of that, we will give you tips. I would say cut out before all of that and just say, we will give you tips on how to save up money. That's great. And you go from there. A lot of good stuff there. Just a little tweaking to make it just a little bit. It's ruthless. Take a machete to this thing and say, if it doesn't help me with SEO or adding value or enticing my audience, then it's gotta go. Or more accurately, it can be replaced by something else, or maybe moved to the end. After it's kind of cut off. If someone's willing to click read more, then they'll probably be more interested in the more filler language. They'll be okay with that, more so than otherwise. So looking at your channel layout, and I have a video I've filmed, I have to edit it, but it's going to be coming out on this channel sometime soonish, where I actually talk about how to set up your full channel layout. So stay tuned for that, but just to preview some of the things I recommend, you have uploads here, which is fine. But I would recommend, at bare minimum, also going in here and adding popular uploads. And that's an easy thing. You can go into your settings and add it, and then YouTube will just constantly update it as different videos get more views. And it'll always be the ones with the most views. So that's a one-time set it and forget it. But it gives more people, like you'll see here, I can scroll down here and it's blank space. Fill that space with more opportunities for people to click on things and to be enticed by your videos. And since it's the popular ones, it's the ones that are probably having a higher CTR, higher retention, more likely to convert into subscribers. These are some high value videos, so I highly recommend doing that. Before I go any further into that and talking about playlists, people have been asking a lot about playlists in the group lately. I think I've got a request for a video about that coming soon, but not as quickly as the other one. I want to take a look at Channelytics just to see what's going on here. Again, this is part of the TubeBuddy browser plugin, so if you don't know what I'm doing, go get that. Link is in the description. So just looking at some of the words you're using here, looking pretty good. Travel and adventure is a little tricky for smaller channels, going after single word keywords. Live in a van, long-term travel. Now I think we're getting into possibly words I don't know, in a language I don't know. So I don't know that I'll have much to add to that. That's fine. Let's see here. So in terms of views, you had a good view day on May 17th. And 25th. Now, one of the games I like to play when I'm doing channel reviews is, can I guess when you uploaded a video? And so I'm going to guess that on May 17th or May 25th or thereabouts, you uploaded a video. Well, look at that. May 17th, May 24th. I'm going to call that one a win. Got a bit of an outlier here, May 31st. How did the views do on May 31st? not as great. So one thing that I would suggest thinking about based on this data is the videos you uploaded on the 17th and the 24th. How are those two different from the one you uploaded on the 31st? If you can make more videos like the ones you did on the 17th and the 24th, those seem to bring in more views. And so those might be better investments of time versus the 31st. Now, the thing with YouTube is it's hard to ascribe a single cause to any one change. So is it the subject matter of the video, or is it the SEO, the titles, the keywords, the descriptions? We got videos on this channel about how to do that. You're doing it fairly well. But for other people. Or is it how you shared it? Did you share the first two on Reddit but not the third one? Did you share it in a Facebook group that was on that topic? Did you tweet about it? What sort of things did you do? When did you post it? Did you post it when most of your audience is asleep on the 31st, whereas maybe it was early in the day on the others? There can be a lot of different factors, but we've got some data here. We got some information, so let's see what we can get out of it. So I recommend going into your analytics and asking yourself, why did the video on the 17th and the 24th do better than the 31st? One thing you could look at is the CTR, which is the click-through rate of the thumbnails of each. Maybe the first two had higher thumbnail click-through rates and the third one a lower amount. So you might want to see, what did I do differently? Did I have words in this one and not that one? Did I use my face? Did I have text? What did I do? What kind of shot was it? Now, if you find that a little intimidating, whether it's you specifically backpacking the world or anybody watching, there is a fantastic TubeBuddy tool, which is called Click Magnet, which will analyze your thumbnails, and it will tell you what ones work better and what don't, which ones you might want to replace, and also what about them is different. Do people click more often when there are words, when there's a face? What emotion on the face are people more likely to click on? It is a fantastic tool, and it is a freaking game changer. Now, that having been said, that is not free. Most of the stuff I'm talking about is free. This one is part of the Legend plan, but frankly, as far as I'm concerned, the Legend license alone is a good deal because of Click Magnet. Click Magnet makes it worthwhile, in my opinion, because that can be just a game changer. When your CTR goes up, more people come to see your videos, so more watch time, more views, more subscribers, comments, likes, everything comes from that. And also, when your CTR goes up, the algorithm says, oh, a high percentage of people like to click on this. I'm going to show this to more people. So that can actually, improving your CTR can also improve your impressions. Impressions times CTR equals views. So, you know, if you can increase both of those multipliers, then, and we've got several success stories in the group of people who've done exactly that with Click Magnet. Myself somewhat among them. As a travel channel, I travel, we focus largely on cruises. And so, as you can imagine, for the last 16 months, channel's not been doing great. You know, but once the cruising world reopens again, I think we're going to take off. In fact, we've already recovered to about 50% of where we were pre-pandemic in terms of our regular views. So we're getting there. But with travel, it's a challenge. In the van is a little easier, I think, because you can do that during pandemic, I think, more easily. So anyways, that was the Channelytics. I want to take a look at your playlists. Interesting. So you had, 19 videos, if memory serves, but only 6 of them are in playlists. This is an easy fix. This is one of those easy things that can pay off over time. So, for one... There's one, I think there's several rules of YouTube, if you just, here's, every now and then there's a thing that I think is a good idea, and then there's stuff that's a bloody rule and just bloody do it, and this is one of those rule situations, and that is every video you publish should be in some playlist of your own creation. So you've got one video in this playlist about this island, and you got 5 in what to see in Denmark. If you have any other videos that that belong in those sorts of playlists, go and add them. It's super easy. You can do it from the video screen. In fact, I think I can even show you here. Pause that. One thing about Channelytics, when you have it come up, it wants to stay up. But I think you just go click, save to playlist. It's just that easy. Click the 3 dots, save to playlist. It'll bring up all your existing playlists and give you an opportunity to make a new one. So all 19 of your videos should be in playlists. A video can be in more than one playlist, but you can indicate which playlist is the primary if you really care about a narrative structure. Again, just knowing that there's more than just you watching here, trying to provide value for everybody. And also, why would you do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, when you have 6 or more videos in a playlist, what you want to do is potentially add the playlist to... Go away, Chanalytics. We're done playing with you. To your homepage. Particularly if it's really like something that consistently performs for you. If it's like, I think educational, instructional content is hugely evergreen. So if it's like how to prepare your van for van life, how to save money for van life, you know, things like that. Like if you have a playlist about like the how-tos of van life, the concrete tips, that would make an amazing playlist, I think, to put here, because someone who comes to your channel, that could provide enormous value to them. Another important thing about playlists is that they have an SEO component. So, you know, if all these videos are about Denmark, them also being in a playlist about Denmark increases the algorithm's confidence that these videos are probably about Denmark. I do recommend whenever creating anything, whether it's a channel name, text in a banner, or a thumbnail, video title, whatever, that you try to have proper capitalization. So I would capitalize the F and the I in this video here about this island that I'm not going to enunciate because it's probably going to sound wrong. Let's take a look at this playlist for a second. So another thing in the playlist that you can have very easily is a description. So you want to have the name of the island also in the description of the playlist. It might seem a little redundant, but this is how you build confidence with the algorithm that it knows what you are about. When the algorithm confidently knows what you're about, that is hugely important. That will drive up your impressions. So, and also the recommended, which is another form of impression. And so you're going to want to have a description for every playlist. So creating the playlist, dirt simple. Writing a description for the playlist. You can do a little keyword research if you want. Same with the title. That's up to you how much time you want to invest in it. But the thing is, playlists are also something that come up in search results. So there's a whole lot of different reasons why you want to do that. Just getting back to the SEO thing, I want to talk for a second about something that I call keyword alignment. So what is the... First of all, you want to do TubeBuddy, you know, keyword explorer research to find a good, high-scoring keyword that you care about. You can do that before making a video as part of your planning process, or after you've made it, to just try and give what you've made its best chance. And it needs to be accurate. But let's say you found a keyword that's got a good to excellent score. We're talking maybe like 60 to 100 keyword score in TubeBuddy Keyword Explorer. If you can say the keyword in the video, caption it in the video's captions, put it in the title, the description, the tags, mention it in comments, add it to a playlist where that keyword is in the title and the description of the playlist. That is what I call keyword alignment, where the keyword appears all the way through every single data point about your video. And that's when some of the magic can really start to happen in terms of the algorithm knowing that, yeah, this video's about that thing. They said it, because yes, YouTube can hear what you say. We love you, YouTube. Recommend me. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already, by the way. I throw in my CTA there. If you're finding any value in any of this, I'd appreciate it. We go live without a lot of warning, so having notifications on, that way you get these channel reviews nice and early and you don't miss the fun. But all that having been said, if the algorithm's confident that it knows what you're about, then it's happy to partner with and work with you on that. And so that the playlist is a way that's often forgotten, but it helps in that as well. So playlists are easy and quick and helpful. So let's see here. So you don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, so you don't have the community tab, which is fine, but that's something to look forward to. It looks like you've picked up a subscriber since we started, so that's kind of awesome. Let's see, about... Because I think we were at 447, not 448. Could just be different displays. That's one thing that comes up a lot. People are like, oh, in my my mobile app and the desktop looks a little different. And that happens. Different things, platforms, even YouTube-run things, they refresh at different rates. So I really recommend people don't waste time checking YouTube's math. Just, you know, kind of hope for the best and work on improving yourself is my advice. So let's take a look here. We've got some stuff. You have a hashtag here in the description, but hashtags in channel descriptions are not functional. So in video descriptions, you can have up to 3 and they're functional. In channel descriptions, they're not. So I wouldn't bother with the hashtag. Let's see here. So yeah, lose the first paragraph. The plan is to move into it in April 2021. That was a few months ago. And so one of the things is that when it comes to channel descriptions, you know, you get it done once and you probably forget about it. And it's completely understandable, but I think it's better to every now and then, I'd say every 6 to 12 months, just take a quick look at your description and be like, is this still accurate? Has my channel evolved since then? Is this still, you know, and also as we learn and we grow and we see what videos do well and new videos do better, and we learn SEO a little bit better, we pick up tips along the way in Facebook groups and on these live streams and wherever, you know, we learn from TubeBuddy just by using it. We get better at it. And so we look, and I mean, the number of times I go back on something I did before, whether it's my channel description, an old video title, a thumbnail, a description tags, and I'm like, oh my God, I was such an idiot. What the hell was I thinking? And then I go and I fix it up, and it often does better after I do that. Or at the very least, I feel better because now my content in my back catalog is a little bit more professional. And so I think that's a good attitude to every now and then go and look at those old videos, go and look at the channel description, and use the new things you've learned and how you've grown since then to maybe make it align with your channel better and be slightly more effective. And that is my 30-minute free channel review. Okay, let's see. How's chat doing? JT Halo 9, how is everyone? I'm pretty good. I've been really low energy lately, but today after lunch, I had energy and I had some time, and I'm like, I'm going to do a live stream. So I'm feeling better than when I woke up. Stupid Robot League is Stupid Robot Fighting League is busy, which is good. Hopefully busy with, I mean, this guy. Stupid Robot Fighting League, the collaborations and the media presence this guy has is just mind-blowing. He works with bands, he works with ESPN. It's just amazing. Magazines and stuff. Super professional. I don't know how he does it. Fine, just chilling, feeling kind of sleepy, but I'm not at home right now. TJ Talk's been a while, right? It has been a while. Yeah. It was like November. Some guy was bullying me in chat for like half an hour, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore because nobody else was talking for that half hour. And so I was like, I'm not wanting to be a punching bag. I want to help people. And so I guess I licked my wounds for a few months before I came back from that. And then since then, it's just been, there's been some like family health challenges, not COVID related. But that's been keeping me from being able to do this. So nice that I had a chance this time. 10 out of 10 for the beard. That's good. I trimmed it a little bit before going live, so it wasn't totally like, fly away. And so I'm glad you approve. Because I was doing it, I'm like, John's not going to like this. From Denmark. Hi from Ontario. Cake Angel, one of our more active people, I believe, in the Canadian YouTubers group that I run, which is awesome. I think it just a total sidebar here, Cake Angel. I don't think you have pre-approval yet because in my Canadian group, when I look at your profile, I have to see evidence that you're from Canada, and it wasn't apparent when I dove into the about. So if you happen to set that, then you can get pre-approval in my group. If you don't want to set it for your own reasons, that's totally fine. But in that one particular group, if that's the thing you want, that's how you get it in that group. Whenever, but can you review my channel? Now, DJ Talks, I've looked at your channel several times, so I don't think I can do a full review, but I was just going on about poking in on things over time, so I should probably do the same. I like the new thing here, because this is, I mean, it's not obviously a TV in the size of your icon is in chat, but here it is, and since I know you do reviews of TV shows and stuff, then that's pretty cool. So that's good. Again, welcome to DJ Talks. My name is DJ, your host. We are here to review some of your... And again, I would just start with, we review some of your favorite cartoons of the 60s and then go from there, just to cut directly to it. One thing that... I don't want to promote other things necessarily, especially for no reason or if I ain't getting paid. But one thing that I really enjoy every Wednesday on Twitch, Pat Contry, Pat the NES Punk, he live streams 80s commercials and often includes commercials for or during cartoon blocks, which it's a lot of fun. So if you find yourself bored on a Wednesday around like 5 p.m. Pacific, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot. Hey, it has gotten me through the pandemic, I got to tell you, having that to look forward to. does pretty some sort of, yeah, this is pretty cool. New video. I'm not personally a fan of having a publicly stated upload schedule. I think it puts pressure on people, and I don't know that it adds value to the audience. And personally, sometimes I think there's value to a mystique. If people don't necessarily know when you're going to be publishing, then they kind of have an incentive to turn on notifications, and so that's not a bad thing. I'm gonna see about increasing my lighting here a little bit. I think I'm losing some of my daylight. There we go. Not that looking at me is what you're here to do, but hey, might as well make that a little better. Okay, so looking here, got your channel trailer. It's interesting you put friends to the channel top. Now, there used to be a side box where you can recommend other channels. And I used to strongly recommend people do that, but now the way that they've changed that, the box is gone. I probably wouldn't put other channels as the top of what you're recommending. You can put it at the bottom. I'm not even sure if it's necessarily worthwhile putting any more at all, just because how the platform has changed. I've got different series. DJ Talk series, that doesn't really clarify what that's about, but theories, yes. I don't know that it needs the word series. This could just be theories. Doesn't even need to be DJ theories. It could be just theories. Disney Mayhem, live, yeah, or live streams. HBO to the max, that would be good. I don't know that. I think series might be redundant there. Cartoon Network review, Disney reviews. These are great. These are great playlist titles. You might want to consider moving them up above this even. And then you've got your uploads, past live streams, popular uploads. Looking at your live streams, they're getting, what am I seeing here? Between 18 and 37 views. So I would consider putting popular above past live streams. I think, at least it's been my experience, that my, like, what is it that, like, in TV, the ratings people, they're like live plus 7. And so it was like people who watched it live plus people who watched it on their DVRs within 7 days. But after that, the metrics, the numbers dropped off a cliff, basically, such that they were no longer statistically significant to the advertisers. So for my live streams, I find that's the case. I get most of the views while I'm live, so thank you, and please click like if you're enjoying this. And then I'll get a smattering over the next 2 to 3 days of people who go and watch it because they missed it, and they know that this has value. But after that, I don't get a lot of people coming back to watch. And so I'm not sure that having it on your home screen is of huge value that way, if your audience is anything like mine. And then you've got the shorts thing, which is kind of cool. We're all figuring shorts out. It's all still pretty new. I imagine your playlists are pretty good, nicely organized. So as I said, I've reviewed that channel a couple times before. I don't want to go too deep a dive into that. Just here to stare at Ray's beard. There we go. I'll have to queue up for a review as well. Mills Construction. I saw this name and I was hoping you would ask for a channel review because I'm curious. Is this a DIY channel or is it something else? What do we got here? Okay, Mills Construction. I like the I like that profile picture. I think it's great. Shows some good personality, and that's fantastic. Millis Construction, nearly 3,000 subscribers off of 154 videos. That's solid. Millis Construction channel features. I would drop the word channel. So Millis Construction features tool chats, reviews, as well as business and investment discussion. That's great. Yeah, I would drop the word channel. I would not capitalize features. Otherwise, I think this is really solid. You explain what you do. And my eyes just glanced down here at the first video result. I see that you've got you've obviously made like a sort of a YouTube icon and a thumbs up, and you've got like yourself a set there. That is solid. That is professional. I am envious. As you can see, oh right, I forgot to start the clock on this channel review. Cap those 30 minutes. But as you can see, here, let me just issue a command to my smart device. I'll mute myself for a second so your smart device isn't triggered. So you can see I just have like my Blu-rays. I have some Perler art from Mario games because I support the Mario Marathon, and last year I participated remotely through this 4K webcam I'm using in this spot. So it has nothing to do with my channel. I've got a magnet for Vacation Impossible. I've got a little clacker thing, and I've got my little slogan here, which I really like, which is good things come to those who hustle. That's right over here. So not really a set. I've kind of put some pieces in the background over the years, but I really like what you've done here. Like, it looks like you got yourself like a nice little corner, and that looks great. So the name is fair, which, you know, it makes sense for what it is. I think that's, with this kind of a channel, it's a good name and that's a good score, and it's hard in this genre to do a lot better than that. Okay, so looking here, I like your banner picture. I think it's good, it's solid, it's pretty crisp, particularly on the right-hand side, nice and crisp, clean image. It conveys a good sense of what you're about. I'm guessing some of the brands of equipment maybe you've partnered with, or just that you review, perhaps, do tutorials on maybe. So that's fantastic. The one issue I see here is that the text is a little hard to read for a couple of reasons. Let me just pop a Tums here. Oh, LiveStream not sponsored. I have acid reflux. Don't worry, it's not you. I'm not stressed. It's just the way my body works. Hiatus hernia, if you must know. It'd be lovely if Tums could sponsor me. I go through a lot of these. Anyways. It's hard to read because it's white on, in part, white and tan and other colors. And also, Millis and Construction are really close to each other. So what I would suggest doing is putting a little bit more space between Millis and Construction and adding like a drop shadow. I'm trying to see if there's like, there's almost a hint of a drop shadow now, but it's not enough contrast. So I would sort of like make us, if there is a drop shadow, intensify it. So that the white stands out a little bit more and has a bit more contrast, so it's easier to read. And kind of doing the same thing with the text below. The tool reviews, education, job site tours, that's great. And I like the look of it. The only thing I would do is adjust the spacing slightly and increase the drop shadow so that the text pops is easier to read. Now, I notice unlike the previous channel review, you don't have anything linked up here. I'm just going to hop over to your About page. So there is a link. What does this go to? Goes to a website. So in your settings, I'm trying to remember if I have a tutorial on this yet or not. I don't know if I do. But in your settings, you can go in and make it so that that's visible here and clickable. And so also, if you are on any other social media platforms, I would suggest Instagram, honestly. I know that maybe that's not the first thing that you would think of with this kind of genre, but you've got tools. So if you can, and it looks like you take great pictures. So if you can take some really nice, you know, product shots of tools, and you can say like, you know, oh, here's this level, you know, we're reviewing it this week. Or, you know, this new video out reviewing this level with a beautiful product shot, tag the people who make it, and some appropriate hashtags and stuff. That could be great if you are interested in possibly partnering, getting maybe free tools to do reviews, maybe free or paid sponsors. You could get a sponsor to review or to fund one of your video reviews or something. That could be awesome if that's it's something you're interested in. And so Instagram could be a really effective way of doing that. And I know when people think Instagram, they probably don't think tools right away, but I think that means that there could be a great opportunity for you in that space. Or it might not be very competitive. You could be sort of, you know, one of the early breakouts there. I don't know. It's not my area. I'm not that much of a handyman, so maybe it's already hugely saturated. I don't know. But I think it's a good opportunity, at least. And possibly Twitter as well. If you have videos that solve problems and you can find people tweeting about those problems, and so you can respond in a non-spammy way, if someone's like, hey, I don't know what kind of drill I should buy, or how do I use this level properly, or I can't seem to make this level work. If you've got a video that answers that question, you can just say, oh, hey, you know, check this out, it might answer your question. Something in a non-spammy way, in a helpful way, that could really help you find some new audience. It's a little manual, but if you're, you know, if you're wanting to get more views and you have the time, that might be an effective use of your time. So first year monetized on YouTube. Thank you all. That's awesome. Congratulations on monetization. I'm going to take a quick moment here to talk about Social Blade. So Social Blade's a free tool. They've got some paid options. I've never used the paid stuff, so I don't know about it. But you can look at some useful information about your channel if you're not already aware. Like, for example, it looks like your channel, some of the channel level stuff is set up properly. You come up as a how-to channel in the US, which is great. I'm seeing some good growth here. And so you're averaging, about 1,200 views per day, and you're picking up about 7 subscribers every day, which is pretty solid growth. Just kind of looking at the pattern of experience. So it looks like around November 2020, you started picking up, getting more than 20,000 views per month, and then since March of this year, getting over 40,000. So that's sort of doubling. So that is a great growth trajectory you've got there. And don't be worried about the little ups and downs. The overall trend line is very positive here. And so for subscribers, you picked up 320 in March. So that was an amazing month for you. For those of you who don't know about some of the cool stuff about Social Blade, it does provide a rough earnings estimate, but I'm sure, Millis Construction could back me up here that this is likely not terribly accurate, but it's an estimate. So if you have a channel, it can be good as it's not monetized. It can be a good reality check, because some people think, oh, as soon as I'm monetized, I'll be a millionaire. And it doesn't work that way. And so this can give, not the most accurate because it's an estimation, but it can give people a rough idea of what they could be pulling in when they're monetized, so they're not ready to quit their day job too soon. B- grade, which is really solid on this. And so you can see future projections. So like at current growth patterns, it estimates in 5 years you'll have 21,000 subscribers and 38 million views, which is kind of cool. And it actually charts it out. And so what I like to do, and again, these are not guarantees, of course. It's a mathematical extrapolation of today, predicting the future. But what I try to do is I use some of these things to be like, okay, I wonder if I can beat that goal. I wonder if I can do better than Social Blade says. So that's just something to think about. A little bit of fun there. Just wanted to mention it. So yeah, congratulations on your first year of monetization. This is really good. I think that you've got really solid titles. One thing that I would recommend about your thumbnails, you might want to, I do strongly recommend the TubeBuddy thing, the click magnet, so you can make sure that you can figure out what thumbnails are performing well, which aren't, and why. I strongly recommend that if you haven't already done so. Because I noticed that there's somewhere there shows your face with different emotions. Some have text, some don't. A lot of close-up shots of equipment make solid sense to me, but every audience is different. And every niche is different. So Click Magnet might help bump those up a little bit and tell you which ones you might want to tweak and what elements work really well for you. One thing that I'm noticing here is I feel that some of the colors are a little muted, particularly in this this bag hammer one, and this one over here a little bit too. So if you use Photoshop, for example, Photoshop is what I use to make most of my thumbnails. TubeBuddy actually as a thumbnail creator, I use a little bit here and there, but mostly Photoshop for me. So when you go into Photoshop, there is, you can adjust an image. I actually have a tutorial here where I show you, I did a live tutorial on how to make a thumbnail in Photoshop. You can check that out. And one of the features that I showed in that tutorial is you can increase the saturation and vibrance of an image. And so what I recommend doing is doing that. I'd play around with adding like 25 or 50 points to each. Well, you want to make sure that it still looks natural. You don't want to accidentally make yourself look like you're claymation or something. So when it's you, I watch out for looking too orange. But with product shots and other things, it's a little easier to go a little higher on that saturation and vibrance. And so what that does is it makes the colors deeper, richer, and brighter and pop more. And why that is important is because it will look like in this here. It looks like there's a bit of light that's coming from above that might be sort of washing out the image. And I think you can adjust that in post with the stuff I'm talking about. Maybe up the contrast possibly so the black looks a little blacker. But it looks like an older video when that happens because it looks like it was shot on an older camera that wasn't as high resolution. And so people might be less likely to click on it thinking it's dated and it's no longer current. And so if you've got a bright, vibrant thing, it also draws the eye. It's more interesting. Not so much for this channel, of course, but for channels that might have a younger audience, children, they're more inclined to click on the brighter, colorful things. When they're, I've actually... It's funny when I go visit a friend's place or whatever, and they have a young kid, and the young kid's like on the computer on YouTube. Out of the corner of my eye, I'm doing market research. There's no off switch for my YouTube brain, and so I'm like watching what's the kid clicking on, and I'm like, bright colors, bright color every time. So it's interesting. I even asked a couple of kids what I saw, clicking on stuff, and I was like, well, why'd you click on that one? It's like, oh, pretty colors. And it's like, but that one over there had like Thomas the Tank Engine, who you like. He's like, yeah, but I think the kid was trying to say that it was dull, basically, in terms of color saturation. Now, adults aren't as swayed by that, but I think we still are to some degree. And the other reason I mentioned this, and why would you want to make it look artificial? That's one of the things with my vacation channel, my travel channel. I use very few green screen effects. I did it once for this funny trailer I made, and that's it. Because I want people to know that when they're tuning into my channel, they're seeing the real thing. So why am I making my thumbnails maybe not look totally accurate? Here's the thing. When you take a very large image and you shrink it down, something is lost. You lose some of the pixel density and some other things. And the thing that I've noticed is whatever compression that YouTube is using on thumbnails is you lose some saturation. So if I make it look just slightly more saturated than real life, by the time it's up on YouTube and you're looking at it on a mobile device or even on a desktop, it looks about natural. So I'm basically pre-accounting for the compression artifacts and things like that, so that even after it's compressed, both in size, like file size and in pixels, then the colors still pop and still look good. And so that's just something that I would recommend, that I consider would make your thumbnails pop out a little bit more, make them a little bit more clickable. And so the text here, this looks good text. Not my area, but I think over here you've got a much better strategy. This one on the end of the Festool reviews. Probably saying that wrong. My apologies. But that looks really great, although you can't really see the product so much. And so I think that there might be a happy medium between this and this. So just having the red outline on white is not fantastic, I'm sorry to say. It doesn't make it pop great. But maybe if you had the colored rectangle, put it behind the text, but just make it closer to it so it's not eating up too much image space. You can also make that rectangle semi-transparent. You can do that very easily in layers in Photoshop. Set it to like 50% transparency. Make it enough that it pops, but not so much that it totally covers the background image. Might be something to try. One thing down here, Vito, 1 year later, this looks really good. I like this. I mean, I think that the box doesn't necessarily, it's not the exact same angle as the text. Which may or may not have been intentional. If that's a stylistic thing, that's cool. It's kind of got like a 90s teen movie vibe for that sort of thing. Like 10 Things I Hate About Tools. Hey, that might be a video idea. Feel free to use it. And of course, all of my ideas, feel free to use, everybody. I'm not expecting any compensation or even links or anything. Feel free to do so, but it's certainly not necessary. And so like I really like that. Again, I can't really see great what's behind it, so that's the trade-off. And also something to keep in mind, a couple of your video thumbnails here, I'm noticing the Vito Pro Pack Tech and the Pro Pack PB4 videos here. In the bottom right hand, it looks like you have your channel name. It's so small that it's hard to read, and you'll see it's being covered up by the time code. And so that's one of the things is like that bottom right corner of your thumbnails is not yours. That is where the time code goes. And so leave some blank space there for it. And don't put text in the bottom right hand corner of your thumbnails. And again, that's not just for this channel, that's for everybody. And I see that you've experimented with like sort of a side panel here. Obviously, the plier wrenches one works better than the screwdriver one because of where the time code ends up. So that's kind of an interesting idea. For something like that, What I would recommend you do is check out your traffic sources in YouTube, specifically the search terms, and see if Millis construction is something people are searching for. If it is, then doing something like this as a style could be a good idea. But if it's not, if people aren't searching your brand specifically, then taking up like 20% of your thumbnail with a brand that people won't necessarily recognize might not be a very effective strategy. And so it's a good idea to have a consistent look so that people at a glance can tell what you're about. Like, I often referenced Toby Travels and Scott the Woz as two channels that have a very consistent sort of, they got this blue aesthetic where Scott the Woz has this background and his face always appears, almost always. And so like I know in a second that that's a Scott the Woz video or a Toby Travels video because of the style. So doing that is good, but if it's eating up 20% of your thumbnail, that could be getting into CTR issues. It could make strangers less likely to want to click. And really, thumbnails are made for strangers. You want to draw a new audience constantly as much as possible. And so thumbnails is often how you do that. And so, again, I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend TubeBuddy. Get yourself a Legend license. Click Magnet. That will tell you definitively, because every audience, every channel, every niche is different. What for your channel, your niche, your audience, and your future potential audience, what works best? Text, no text, face, no face, what emotion on the face, what words in the text. It goes that detailed. And so, for example, if a lot of people are clicking on text that says Millis Construction, you might want to consider keeping it in. But if that's not up there, then you might want to use the space for something a bit more effective. Favorite YouTube channels at the end, that's pretty good. Got room for 2 more, so might as well just fill up the space, would be my thought. But this looks really solid. Let's take a look at the playlist. Handy tools for contractors, channel introduction, okay. Work videos, job site. It's interesting. I'm curious about the privacy dimension of the job site. If there's no issues with doing that, that's fine. But something to consider, especially as your channel grows, are the sites you're working at going to be okay with you filming there and publishing videos there? I don't know. But as it gets bigger, it's just something maybe in the back of your mind. If it's a quick little, oh, hey, by the way, do you mind if I, film a little bit? Hey, you'll be able to see it. We can mention you and link to you if you want in the video. You can do things like that, possibly. I don't know. There could be opportunities to partner in that way. Like, for example, just thinking about different companies. And now I don't know exactly what kind of work you do necessarily, whether it's renovation or new construction or whatever, repair work possibly. People might want to be able to see visually through pictures on Instagram or videos on YouTube how the work is progressing. They might see that as a great value add for your existing customers in your day-to-day business. And also, one thing that you might want to consider doing as a nice thing to do, or maybe as an add-on they could pay for, is you could do time lapse. So if you get yourself like a GoPro and set it up on the corner of the site, pointing it where the primary work or impact visually is going to occur, and you could have it take a picture every minute or whatever, and then you could compile that into a time lapse so they can watch that transition happen. I think it might, and I'm talking out my rectum here, so, but I'm just thinking, and if it's a good idea, use it. If it's a bad idea, feel free to ignore me. But I think they might feel better about the money that they've spent on the renovation, the repair, the new build, if they can kind of see that magic happen, and that they can understand, maybe why things cost what they do, if they can kind of have this visual representation, even if it's after the fact. And if you do it in a particular way, have a watermark on the final product that has your name, and so you send them the video file or put it on your page and just link it, whatever works. If they show to their investors, their employees, their customers, they're like, hey, look at this amazing renovation that we did at our store. Come on down and check out the renovated store, or whatever it might be. You could have that watermark there, so that could be like a guerrilla marketing tactic. And also, like, other companies or what have you might be able to see that. And I mean, I'm no construction expert. I'm not licensed for anything, and no legal expert. But also, like, for certain liability issues. I mean, I watch a lot of People's Court. I'm not a lawyer, but I watch People's Court. And the number of times they say you got to take a picture at the beginning beginning, middle, and end, of these processes. The beginning to see what they were dealing with, the end to see what they'd done, and maybe the middle in case there were things that came up unexpectedly. You discover, mold or something behind a wall, a leaky faucet or something, a leaky pipe. And so I'm probably telling you things you already know, but capturing that could also kind of protect you in that regard. And by sharing it either publicly or even just an email video, that you send them or something, it could make them feel that you're really responsive. And things like that might make them more inclined to recommend you. And so, if you do like a time lapse of like, hey, here, watch how the work happened, that could really be. It's almost like you're making your own testimonial at that point, but because it's visual, it's not a testimonial in the sense of somebody giving their opinion that you're so awesome and the work you did was so great, but that they can see with their own eyes. And in some senses, in some situations, that carries more value. Am I going to believe you or my lion eyes? I say that on People's Court all the time. But the thing is that if you've got those visual representations, you could have a playlist of time lapses. Some people would just enjoy watching that for entertainment on its own. Some people might find it educational, but also some people might be like, well, now I can see, a little bit about how they work. Are they doing how I would evaluate a professional job? Whatever it is, are they putting the appropriate space between, I don't know, beams or whatever, I don't know what I'm talking about, or, or if it's a repair work, are they, covering their feet when they're walking through existing carpet, are they covering it? Little things like that can make a big difference, especially with laypersons who don't necessarily know what they're looking at, but they might be trying to hire a general contractor for something. So that's just some different things to think about from a business standpoint, which you may have already given plenty of thought to. I don't know. Let's check your About page here. I think this could be fleshed out more. One of the things I often talk about, I don't know if I have it here. Let me just check my little library. Here we go. When you have a one-paragraph channel description, I strongly recommend a second paragraph mentioning why you do what you do. This is a book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. I think I have it linked in the description. And I strongly recommend this, or at the very least, he's got a TED Talk. It has like 3 million views on it. I think it's like the second most watched TED Talk in history, where he talks about... actually, you know what? I think I might even be able to put a link in chat. I should try that. But he talks about the why of what you do, because that is something that people identify with on an emotional level. And the simple fact is, let's see if that works. Did that go through? Hey, look at that. It's an affiliate link, Amazon affiliate link. Fair warning, but there you go. So that's the book if you're interested in it. But basically, it's kind of like when you consider Apple computers, they are not providing better value necessarily. They're not generally faster. It's not that they can do things that other computers can't do, despite what some of their strong, proponents will say to you. Sometimes it's a bit about style. It's the prestige, the lifestyle, the look of the Apple product, whether it's the laptop or the phone or the watch or the whatever. But it's also a big part of that they really effectively communicated why they did what they did. And it had nothing to do with computers. They wanted to be disruptive. They wanted to put a dent in the universe, all those sorts of things. Think differently, whatever. And so people emotionally identified with that. And so they were like, that's something that I think about. And so people were willing to having my construction contract consent to film. Awesome. So consent is one thing, but then maybe we can take it a step further and make it like advertising for you and the other business, possibly. Maybe. But anyways, people identified with like, that speaks to me. That's the personality I have. That's what I care about. Those are my values. And so I want to support that, be a part of it. Even if it means I spend more money for a weaker CPU or something like that. And I mean, very few people who buy Apple products even know, the what CPU, how much RAM is in it, what kind of storage capacity does it have. Although with those phones, they find out pretty quick when they get full. The point being that Apple's a giant success, and I think it's hugely associated with the fact that they know and articulated their why and communicated it very effectively with marketing. And so I think that the second paragraph of your channel description is a place where you can do that. So do you want to make it so that fewer people are taken advantage of by contractors? Or do you want to remove some of the mystique around it? Do you want to empower people to do their own small home repairs? What is it that matters to you? Do you love construction work and want to share the joy of that? Are you upset about people who do shoddy work and you want to show them how it's done proper? Do you feel bad about, journeymen and small, and I don't know all the proper terms, who are maybe starting to come up and they overspend on tools? Well, you bought this thing with all these fancy bells and whistles, but it's going to break right away. Like, what is it that makes you want to do this? Why do you spend all this extra time filming and editing? Why are you watching me right now? And don't say to make money. I don't think you would, but just, for everyone watching, because money is not the why. The money is the how you do something else. Money is how you pursue your why. So maybe and I'm talking to anybody here, but like maybe you want to get your family out of poverty. Maybe you want to go back to school and need tuition money. Maybe you want to start a nonprofit. Maybe you want to help homeless people. Whatever you might want to do with that money, see the world, travel, whatever it might be. The money is how you pursue your why. And so the why is when you start to get into things like lifestyle. And so it becomes about more than just the specific details. And so that, I think, resonates emotionally. And when people are emotionally invested, that's when you start to develop something called true fans. And so if you haven't heard the true fan theory, and Backer wrote about this on their blog not too long ago, but it's been around since forever. The idea is if you have 1,000 people who watch every video you put out, who click every link you share, who buy everything you produce or whatever, if you've got 1,000 people who do that, then all you have to do is make $100 worth of product every year. And there you go. 1,000 people buying $100 worth of product every year. It's $100,000 and you can live very comfortably pretty much anywhere in the world on that kind of an income. And so if you can get 1,000 true fans, and I've got like a couple true fans, and they are some of the most amazing people. And I can't be more grateful because I'm so, confused in a way that they choose to take interest in my stuff. But it's immensely gratifying. And if you can get to that point, then that's when you might not be having to work to feed yourself and your family and pay your mortgage. But now maybe you can start to have more fun with it. Like if I didn't have to, if I was making, enough money to live off the internet, and I'm nowhere near that, between you, me, and the lamppost, I pulled in like $6,000 on the internet last year. Not a lot. But if I got to the point where I was making, enough to live off of that, then what would I do? I think I would be doing live streams like this way more often, maybe daily. I don't know. It would be easier to find the time. I would be making more tutorials and I would be able to help more people because that's something that is my why. My why is about empowering people. I want to empower people to travel on my travel channel so that they can take the vacation that they think is impossible. It is depressing for me when I hear someone in maybe in later in life, long after they've retired, and they're saying, I never made it to Europe. And they say it in a way that that they think they're never going to make it either. And so that is done. That is depressing. And that's sad. And the thing is that there's ways to do it. There are ways to do it smarter and cheaper, that it's not impossible. And so that kind of thing. The people who I talk to who have amazing talent, amazing singers. There's a guy I strongly recommend you check out, Warren Flandes. Check him out on Spotify. He is an amazing singer. His Christmas album is awesome for like 6 months from now. Check that out. But he does gospel work. He did pop stuff. It's fantastic. And so he's great. But when I see other singers in his circle, because he runs a school where he teaches other people to sing, and I've encountered just tons of people who have amazing talent that I could pray for a million years and never get close to, and they don't take their shot. It's too hard. I don't understand. Where do I begin? And so that's where Small YouTubers Boost comes in. Is because the people with this talent, with these amazing personalities, with this hustle, with these great ideas, they're like, YouTube is too intimidating. I don't know where to begin. I'm never going to get views. Or they've already put some stuff out, and then they, like, there's this one, for me, it's a tragic story. There was a small YouTuber I loved called Brett Westgore. He did this thing about saving up to buy a Tesla in a year. He put out like a half dozen videos. I told my family and my friends, we waited with bated breath for his videos to come out. We check every now and then. We loved his stuff. And he just wasn't getting, I guess, enough views or subscribers. He quit. Later, he deleted his back catalog. Those videos are gone. And it's just like, if maybe he had known some technical tricks, maybe if he knew about TubeBuddy, Epidemic Sound, something, whatever would have solved his particular problem that could have unlocked his creative talent, that we could still be watching his comedy videos to this day. But it didn't happen. And that drives me nuts. And so that's that's my why, is I want to give people like him the chance that their talent, their hard work, their humorous personality, whatever, can find an audience. Because that not happening sucks. Anyways, that's my 30 minutes on that one. Covered some different topics there. Let's see, what did I miss in chat? Oh, okay, somebody's watching from Mexico. That's awesome. I hope to be in Mexico at the end of August if we can get Canada's borders open. So if you're Canadian and you haven't gotten your vaccine, please, for the love of God, I want to travel again. I've gotten my first shot. I'm waiting on my second. Can we use chat to promote Ray's beard? That sounds more like a Patreon thing to me. Patreon.com/vacationimpossible. Bro, do you have OCD for beards? Maybe. I sponsor Ray's Beard on Patreon. That's true. One time I wrote, because the person who runs Stupid Robot Fighting League, his name is John. And so he said that one time. So I took a Post-it and I wrote John and on a Post-it and I stuck it on my beard and I put the picture on Patreon. Okay, I've got another review request. Blurred You Heard Network. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly. All right, let's start the clock once again. Channel review number 3 of the day. Seriously? I'm live, right? Am I live? What's going on here? Brampton Gardner, Canadian 2. Yes, I think you're in our Canadian Facebook group, which is fantastic. Am I still live? Can somebody let me know if I'm live? If you're looking for a fourth, let me know. We'll see. I go chronologically through chat. Yeah, you were live. Okay. Wow. YouTube thinks I'm not. Let's try that again. Okay, that was weird. Okay, so... Yeah, okay, so let's talk profile picture first. I want to go back to where I saw it in chat. Well behind in chat. Yeah, in chat I couldn't tell what it was. It looked like a purple mailbox, to be honest, in chat. And in chat, the channel icons really, really shrunk, so that's not always a very effective thing anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Looking at it here, it looks like a person leaning against a wall, wearing a hat, maybe smoking something. It says, Your BJH Network. So, looking at that, I don't know what that is. My best guess would be a music channel. Looking at that, I don't know. And at the name, don't know. The name made me think that maybe it was like a comedy channel. So, welcome to Blurred You Heard Network. Again, welcome to not good for SEO. You're wasting space. You're not providing value, asking people to do anything or enticing them to do anything. And putting the name of your channel in the channel description is a good idea, working it into sort of a sentence, so that's not a bad idea. Y'all can call me PB3J, and welcome to my channel. You say welcome twice. That's not great. Where we will discuss comics. Okay, we found right at the end there. If that last word had been cut off, I'd have no clue what you're about. Okay. All right. Comics. Okay. Why you go by two different names, I don't know. Brand confusion happening there. That's not fantastic. So you could just say at Blurred You Heard Network, we discuss comics and go from there. Get to it right away. Mention the channel name again because you in the description because that helps with SEO and keyword alignment. That's fine. But then you got to go right to what you're about. So I recommend doing that. Now, if we're talking comics, what I'm looking at that icon, okay, now I'm looking at it through a slightly different lens of knowing that you're about comics. So the black background for the BJH network, that might look kind of like ink. Okay, I get that. That could be a little bit more clear, but fine. Not really sure why network. Network is normally a collection of things, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But the style of the image there, also, because it kind of looked like you're wearing cans, like headphones. And so that's part of what made me think music. And so like the three the image distortion into like sort of three shadows of itself or whatever that would be, I'm not sure what that would be called, makes me think of the kind of things I would see on like, you know, a CD back when CDs were a thing, you know, like a album art, something like that. And the your thing, I don't know. So if you could incorporate more of a comic style in some sense, that might be good. One of the ways you could do that is possibly with the font of the text. I'm normally a big advocate for block text, and BJH Network, that's good because it's a good text, it stands out, good contrast, it's readable, but it's not communicating information. So you might want to consider changing that to a different font that's more comic-like. But I don't want to ruin the readability. There's also the your thing. If that was bigger and had an exclamation point, and that was in like a comic font, like when Spider-Man shoots his web and it's like flip or whatever, if it was that kind of a thing, then that would more encourage me to think that it's about comics. But the name and the image really doesn't get it across. So let's dive in here. Gonna pause that. You got a 1 minute thing here, which is good. Serving as a channel trailer. It doesn't look like it is a channel trailer per se, but if for those of you out there who are watching, if you don't have a channel trailer, find a video between 30 and 90 seconds, maybe a short, if that's all you have. I would go not a short, if possible, so that it's like, you know, full HD or 4K or something, but and just set that as your channel trailer, so that you get that free view, free watch time, and use that function. The algorithm, I think, favors people who use more of the different functions that are available. So if it's there for a reason. Give it a try. And then for those of you who don't have a channel trailer, what I recommend doing is just grab a piece of paper, open up Notepad, you know, open up something on your phone, and just think about the coolest things that you've ever put on your channel. You know, just quickly jot down. Like, oh, when I got that epic, you know, sniper shot in, I don't know, Fortnite or something, or when I rode on that roller coaster and passed out, or, you know, when I proposed to my girlfriend, or whatever it might be, depending on the kind of stuff. Or maybe it's just something that's been really successful. Everybody watched that video of me dunking that ball, whatever it was. And so then throw those together with just quick cuts. You don't need transitions. It doesn't need to be fancy. And what you can do is use the original audio if you want, and you can just upload that as a channel trailer. Or you could think about, again, your why, and maybe have a voiceover where you explain your why. On this channel, we review comics because comics are for everybody. You know, even people who have mobility challenges and chronic illness can enjoy comic books, and so it's a platform that truly anybody can enjoy. Something like that, maybe, I don't know. Or like comics bring out the truth of the human condition, or comics inspire us to be superheroes in our own lives. Whatever it is, you could say something like that as a voiceover for all the clips. But if you don't have that, if you don't know your why, or you're not comfortable doing it, you're struggling, whatever, that's fine. You could just put some music on there. And so one thing you could do is you could get Epidemic Sound if you don't have some music that you have the rights to use. I think there should be a link in the description. You can get a free month and make a channel trailer using their music during the free month, and you'll own the rights to that trailer, that video, as long as you upload it during your free month. You got the rights to that forever. So that's one of the ways you can really make your free month of Epidemic count, is use their music for your channel trailer and upload it during your free month. Strongly recommend that. Also, I know it's a couple months off, but with Vlog, or what is it, Vlogust? Whatever they call the August thing where you vlog every single day. But every time that there's one of those like 30 days of videos, that's a great time to get your free month. You know, there's Vlogmas at Christmas time, there's Vlogtober in October. I forget what the August one's called. But I know there's one in August. Whatever it is. So that's another way that you can make that really effective if you're struggling to find music. Or, of course, you can just, you know, subscribe. And it's like $13 a month or something, I think, $12 a month. It's pretty reasonable, but that's just something that you could use as part of your channel trailer. So let's dive in here. Like, these thumbnails are solid. Okay, I get it. This looks like, well, it looks like it could be comics or video games, not necessarily knowing, or movies. But these thumbnails are pretty solid. You've done an interesting thing here on the Ethan Hawke and Major MCU Theory, where you've got this kind of banner at the bottom with the name of your channel. That's kind of cool. I think that's not bad. And it's like the banner is kind of color matched to something that's like a color theme of the thing. That's pretty good. This Black Panther one almost looks like an end screen, which is kind of weird. And there's a lot of text there that's kind of hard to read, and some of it's where the timestamp is. So for something like that, I would remove wait, who's the villain. I'd just say who's the villain. Black Panther 2 is fine. Maybe don't need to say Wakanda Forever, but maybe do. Whatever that is in the bottom left hand. Like, I'm going to... 83rd HVE... No, it's Network. 83rd Network? I don't know what the hell that is. I can't read it. And I've got a pretty good monitor size. It's 1080p monitor. I can't read it. So it's doing you no good. It's just eating space and making the image look complicated. So, yeah, I would remove whatever that bottom left box is, and the bottom right box, I think it's a call to subscribe, but I don't know. It's covered by the time code. I'd remove that as well to just make the image a little bit more simple. But some of the other stuff's really solid. Again, similar to the other channel I was looking at, you're going to want popular uploads as a horizontal playlist on your homepage. Let's see, how are you doing with playlists? MCU news / topics. That might be better just as MCU news. But you got 15 videos there. So this playlist, at bare minimum, you should add to your homepage. So that you could have uploads, MCU news, and then popular uploads at bare minimum. Then you give at least people 3 solid rows of 6 videos each, where they see different thumbnails and have a chance to be enticed into watching more of your content. That is something that I recommend. Let's take a look here. I'm going to look at your videos, and we're going to sort by most popular. If you had a most popular, what would come up first? Why T'Challa is still needed in the MCU? That is an interesting, complex, and perhaps controversial topic, which could drive views. It's interesting. Personally, I think that they're respecting the passing of Chadwick Boseman and not recasting. Personally, I emotionally feel like that's the right thing to do, but I haven't given it probably as much thought as a true fan of comics. And so perhaps the character is still very important. But maybe sure he can do the job and fill the role. I don't know. Okay, Ethan Hawke video is doing all right too. It's pretty cool, that image there. I don't know if you made that up or not. So there's some potential here. Just looking at this. Obviously, and again, this is a good example of how everything doesn't update perfectly in real time across all platforms. I sorted this by most popular, which means most views. But at the end, we got 181, which comes after 20. So sometimes these things take a little while to update. And when you encounter that, it's okay. There's nothing you can do. It's not something that needs fixing. It is just it's just the way of IT platforms. Is like the refresh rate is different in different areas. So just make your peace with it, because it's not a good way to spend time. I'm just looking at it here. Like here, WandaVision, Doctor Strange. I think you need a space maybe in there somewhere, because I think if you do WandaVision, DR, I'm not sure if it picks that up as one keyword or how that works. I know that if you typed it, it would just put WandaVision as one in the tags, but I'm not sure how it reads that from titles. So having 2 words basically touching each other or no space after punctuation, I think is not a good thing. But there's only the one instance of that, I think, so that's fine. Although, again, the 2 lines after Carnage, I'd put a space and then the line. I don't know. I noticed that you've captioned one of your videos. It's a 6-minute video. I recommend captioning all of your videos if possible. At the very least, caption everything that's 6 minutes or shorter. If you're able to put the time in to do this 6-minute video, I recommend doing it for all the other ones. Like, you got a 56-second video here. Captioning that shouldn't take you too long. And so the way that you want to do that to save time is YouTube will sometimes auto-caption things. And so when it captions it automatically, that saves you a lot of the typing. You can just go in and correct the errors. But if if every time you said T'Challa, I thought you were saying, I don't know, 2 Chainz or something, it would think your video is about music, not about comics. But if you go and correct that, then it increases the accuracy. And I can't tell you how many innocent words I've said on my Vacation Impossible channel that it thought I was swearing like a sailor, and I don't think that would help my monetization. I think that it's good to go in and do that. I mean, when it's more than 6-minute videos, it's a commitment of time. When you get into 10 minutes plus, you're like, oh my god. Even if you're just correcting errors, it's like, this is... So, I don't blame people who don't do it for the longer videos. But even then, that opens up your audience to the hearing impaired, as well as people who are in places where they can't listen to videos, but they still want to watch. So, for example, if you're at the airport, when we're able to fly again, and you don't have earbuds. This was one of my pet peeves pre-pandemic, is people doing like video chats or watching YouTube videos on their phones, sound completely up, everybody around them getting a headache. Or like 3 of them in close proximity to each other, having like a volume war, and I'm stuck in the middle getting a headache. There's still considerate people out there who in that situation would turn on the captioning and mute the phone or the video. And so I recommend doing that. And so one thing about captions is, in my personal experience, when I caption a video, I get between 8 and 11% more views when I caption a video, which might not sound like a lot, but us small YouTubers, we got to take every shot we're given. And so I do recommend doing that. When I was talking about the channel initially, it kind of jumped around here. I didn't talk about the banner, and I probably should, because there's a lot going on here. So the sides, they look like pixel art thumbs up, I think. I don't think that adds value, or I just don't think it's good, to be completely honest. Because also between some of the pixels there's lines and some there aren't. It doesn't communicate anything. It feels like it's just filling space. So it's not clear to me what it is or what its purpose is, other than possibly you want people to click like. And the thing is, where they see your banner, they can't click like. There's no like on this page. There's only subscribe. So it's not even effective in that sense. And so you've got the name of your channel here in sort of a block font that reminds me of my very first Tandy computer in like 1990. Not necessarily a fond memory. And it says @blurred news, which, okay, is that it? Is like a blur? Is that why there's that distortion image on your profile picture? I don't get how that relates to comics, but okay. And so it sounds like you'd be providing news, spelled with a Z, doesn't matter, about something called Blurred, and I don't know what that is. And so if I came to this, I wouldn't know what it's about. I would think that it's news about, I don't know, is there a band called Blurred I've never heard of? Is that what this is about? I don't know. But you've got this, what looks like this Superman here. Now that's the part of the image that is most compelling and dynamic. Looks like it might be from a comic or maybe a video game from like 16-bit and beyond. But like this is what is the compelling part of the image. So if there's more of it, bring it up. And just, it's confusing because I don't understand what network is about. And so, yeah, that's some feedback there is try to make your banner communicate information if possible. I think you could be doing a better job of that. Let's see here. Yeah, I got a playlist. Check the about. So, yeah, okay, here we go. Comics, movies, anime, etc. Okay, so where it cut off, I thought it was only comics. Didn't know it was also movies and anime, and that's why you don't want to kind of waste, if you don't mind me saying it harshly, waste early characters here. I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable. Okay, no, you can say that, that's fine, but don't put it in text. When we are selling ourselves, which is what we're doing on YouTube, we are selling ourselves and our product, our videos. Don't talk yourself down. I mean, it's kind of bad advice. It's kind of advice for life. Like, think about, like, what if YouTube was like a date? And you're on a date with someone, and you're like, I don't claim to be knowledgeable. I don't claim to be the most. And this thing you say, I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable. A lot of people are just going to read that as I don't claim to be knowledgeable. But I know a little something. As I don't know. I mean, maybe if it's demur on a date, that might be a bad example. But the point is, think of it as a job interview, a date, something where you're selling yourself to total strangers. You're talking to total strangers, and so don't spend too much time, or practically any time, itemizing your faults. It's great that you have that self-awareness, and there's time and space where you can mention that, and that will actually gain you a lot of respect from your audience. The second sentence of your introduction is not where you want to put that. And so I appreciate the humility that you're humble about things, but we're doing a sales job here first and foremost. And it's like, I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable blurred. I don't know what blurred is in this context. Maybe it's like a comic subculture thing. I don't know. Well, maybe there's is that short for like black nerd? Maybe is it like black nerd comedy? Andrea Meadows? Is that what that is? Okay, is that a thing? Is that what that is? Let me see. Yours is a New York thing. I've been to New York State, not to. It's a headphone mic. Oh, okay. I've been to New York State. I've been to Buffalo. Buffalo sucks, but I've never been to New York City. Okay. It changes as you speak. Let's go on that. Yes, it is. Okay, I get it. I'm not... Yeah, I'm... Okay, so now it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me. Okay, now I'm getting it. Okay. But it took me a while to get there. And again, not only are audiences lazy, some of them are stupid like me. So help the idiots among us out. Make it easier. I know a little something, so kick back while I kick game on all things nerd. Yeah, okay, I eventually put it together. Okay, so the last horse crossed the finish line on that one. I think that, like, it sounds like what you're saying is you don't know everything, you know something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're saying you have a unique perspective. So you're not going to think the same things that Andre Meadow thinks. You're going to think different things. You have a different take on it. Because you have a different background, different experience, and that is logical. Makes perfect sense. So maybe saying something like, my unique take, or something like that. Or I'm not... And okay, if blurred is a noun, you could be like, I'm not like any of the other blurs you heard. Maybe. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know it all, but I'll show you something different. If you're gonna highlight or acknowledge a limitation, instantly pivot to something positive. And I know a little something isn't necessarily positive. It's almost restating that you don't know everything. So it's like, okay, I don't know everything. I know a little something. But why am I watching? To be completely harsh. And so I think, yeah, that could be it. That could be good. And I mean, hey, if the New York perspective comes into play in your videos, you might want to mention that here. That might be something to say, like, that could be unique about it. Because, for example, thinking about Andre Meadows' Black Nerd Comedy, he is in California, so a California perspective could be very different from a New York perspective. Particularly, I think with comics, that makes sense. Gotham being a stand-in for a crime-ridden New York City, for example. And so, or even just being in that kind of the different kind of, in California, everybody owns a car. In New York, it makes a whole lot less sense, I imagine. I've been to California a lot of times. Because I'm on the west coast of North America. And so, maybe that could be part of what your unique value proposition is. So one thing you have here is you have your Twitter handle here. What you want to do is go into your settings for your channel and add it down here as a social link. because then it'll be clickable, because right now clicking on this doesn't do squat. But if you got it as a link down here, then it will also appear as a link up in the banner. It looks very professional when you do that, and it can help drive traffic. You've got your email address here, but people have to click to see it, which is fantastic. If you ever want a professional organization or maybe another channel to contact you for a collaboration, sponsorship, what have you, then that might work well. For example, if you're all about comics, maybe there's a small creator who, like somebody who's just trying to break into comics, or it might be like an indie publisher or something might reach out to you. I mean, I remember years and years ago in Vancouver, there was an indie publisher that published a zine, might be the right word, I'm not sure. It was called Ninja Bear. It was awesome. It was about this bear who was a ninja, and his enemies were the roving bandit gang of nihilists. And I loved it, and I wish it had gone like mainstream because it was hilarious. It was insightful. It was philosophical. I don't want to spoiler alert in case it's something you ever get into, but at the final battle, it's Ninja Bear, and he's surrounded by the roving bandit gang of nihilists. The whole gang is there, and he basically, through philosophy, convinces them that their existence is meaningless. They all commit seppuku, and he wins without throwing a punch. So maybe there's small creators out there that might want to get to a wider audience, and so maybe they'll send you a free sample to review or something, or sponsor something. I don't know. And then maybe later you could get bigger things, Dark Horse Comics, whatever. I don't know if they reach out. Maybe they send out review copies. You can become a professional reviewer. I know that I often in these streams try to pivot to like, how can you make money? How can you make it a career? But that's kind of how you can make it big, is if you can devote more time and energy and resources, including things like buying a Legend TubeBuddy license or Epidemic, or running an ad campaign on Facebook or whatever. Although I don't recommend the Facebook thing, it didn't work well for me. I don't think that's good money for value for money, but getting better microphones and cameras and what have you. So I touch on that from time to time, but I know that a lot of people do this as a passion, as fun projects. They don't care about the money, and that's fine too. So it's just some things to consider. I got a little bit time left here, so let's go and take a look at the videos. I'm not going to watch the video. I'm just going to pause it right away. I want to take a look at a couple things here. Like here, this talk bubble in the top right-hand corner. You could incorporate something like that into some of your iconography as your, maybe that's where you put the your in your profile picture, so that it's a little bit more obviously comics. You might put something like that in your profile banner to make that clear. Okay, your sub gang. So Ethan Hawke joins the, and again, this opening, this is fine verbally. I don't think it translates in text, and I would drop so. That's my crutch word. People often say all the time. For me, I think it's so. I say so all the time, and I just want to excise it from my vocabulary. But anyways, I would begin just here with Ethan Hawke joins the MCU Moon Knight series. According to reports, he'll be playing the main villain of the MCU Disney Plus show, and I can't wait to see what's going on. Okay. You can make these links in your description by putting the HTTP Twitter.com before that. So I recommend, if you're going to have social links in your description, make them actual links. Remember, people are lazy. Are you really expecting them to type this out somewhere else or copy and paste it? Or is it just better if they click it? Clicking is easier. Make it easy. So this is pretty good in terms of a description. Because what you've done here, if you want to talk keyword alignment, Ethan Hawke joins MCU Moon Knight series. And down here, Ethan Hawke joins the MCU Moon Knight series. And what do we have over here? If you have space. Yes. No. Oh, okay. We got a problem here. Okay. First of all, I think Ethan Hawke joins MCU Moon Knight needs to be in here as one keyword. These words right here. 1, 2, 3. These 6 words should be one keyword in here. The longer the keyword, the easier it is to rank for it because it is less competitive. And so you've got it here. You've got the phrase down here. You also are going to want to have it as a tag. Now, there's a problem with your tags. Specifically, I think Loki trailer is your problem, as well as Black Widow Marvel, maybe, Captain America 4. Because unless you talk about those things in this video, specifically, then those are misleading. And you can get a community guideline strike. Yeah, if you talk about the Loki trailer in this 14-minute video at some point, then okay, you're fine. But if you're just talking about Ethan Hawke joining this particular series and you don't even mention Loki, you don't even mention Black Widow, you don't even mention Captain America, if that's the situation, you gotta remove those tags because that's misleading. And it can get you community strike. You get enough community strikes, your channel can get shut down. I don't want to scare you or anything, but I don't want to see that happen to you either. And the thing is, use the space that those keywords were taking up to instead copy this part of your title. And then you're more likely to rank for that. I mean, let's take a look at this. Keyword research. I bet you this is going to come up okay. Yeah, that's good. 44. I mean, the problem is there's going to be a lot of competition. So for something this competitive, I think a 44 score on this keyword is solid. And so I would go after it. I mean, this tool's kind of been nerfed, so not super reliable. Don't have any comments on here yet, so you can't comment. A 14-minute video is pretty long. People are impatient, so I do strongly recommend adding chapters for any video that's like, geez, honestly, like more than 6 minutes. I mean, you should try to add chapters to everything. I've added chapters to shorts because I am just ruthlessly trying to like game the algorithm and do everything I can. But adding chapters, I think, to anything at least, like if your video is more than 10 minutes and you don't have chapters, that's a problem. And the thing about chapters is they're super easy to make. You just put in the time code 00:00 space introduction. 00:24, you know, whatever. The first thing you talk about. Because one thing about chapters that's great, I mean, there's a few things about chapters that are great. One is it allows people to navigate, and then they can go back and rewatch portions, so maybe you get more than 100% retention if they rewatch portions. And it's better to have them jump to the part that they want, and you might not get the full watch time. It's better that than them to click off the video entirely, because at least then you still get the continued watch time of them watching that segment. But the sneaky part about chapters that's, I don't think a lot of people totally get, but it's great because it forces you to do SEO better. And here's why. Because you have to put labels on each chapter, and those labels are probably pretty solid SEO. And as much as that is the chapter title, it's also part of your description. So it's improving the SEO of your description. So chapters serve more than one function. And so I do strongly recommend them, especially for any video over 10 minutes. John, Stupid Robot Fighting League, if you're watching, it just occurs to me, I haven't watched one of your videos in a while, but I know you have rounds of fights. Easy chapters is round 1, round 2, or round 1 taunts, round 2 fight, or round 1 fight, round 2 taunts, round 2 fight. If you have no chapters and you're struggling for chapter names, that's an easy one right there. That's my 30 minutes on that channel. All right, I think I might close off channel reviews now, and we'll just do kind of, you know, Q&A from this point forward, just because it's getting a little late. Let me scroll back all the way back. Let's see. Get a review of your own beard. Okay. Oh, let's do this thing. So, I think that everything between my hands right now, let's see. I think everything here is solid. This is a keeper. Everything that's not between my two hands frustrates me and might not be around forever. I think that it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to be like Nick Nimmin or anything, or like Dan from the Mario Marathon. From like, was it when I was in grade 11, I went to get a job at the local fair, and they said I looked really young, but I was really articulate. They wanted me to work in the guest services department, but they were concerned about how young I looked. So I grew a goatee for the second interview to get the job, and I kept it ever since. So I love the goatee. Goatee's part of my personality, and how, like, you know, they say that like you got the image, the after image in your head of what you look like, and so my image of myself in my head has a goatee, does not have this itchy nonsense. That is my beard review. Love a review of my header. Okay, well, if it's just the header, I could probably do it quickly. And, you know, after all of the volunteer work you've given me over the years, the least I can do is take a look at your header. Nice picture. You say, come on, man. Hello? This isn't your first time here. What are you doing? If you have a passion for all things technology, you're in the right place. That's pretty good. Hello? Don't say hello. Ooh, I like this. The Curious Coder. Tech and gaming tutorials. On stream. I'm not sure what the on stream part here is specifically referring to. And so I'm not sure that that's giving huge value. The subscribe thing here, you know, I generally like, there's an actual subscribe button over here. The thing here doesn't do anything. At least it's not red. So thanks for that. So like people might not think that they could click on it. But honestly, I think it would be a cleaner image if there wasn't this and the subscribe thing wasn't here, or if it had something else in there as text. I'm not sure what. But I think it's pretty solid. It's a clean image. The space here is a little empty, which isn't bad. I mean, I don't think we should fear empty space because I think it adds sort of style to an image sometimes to have it cleaner, but I think that's fine. The Curious Coder on Facebook. The Facebook icon, I think, makes it clear that that's what that is. So I'm not sure that text is ideal. I imagine that this is all linked properly, though. Yeah. It's interesting because you've got that sort of icon there, so that's consistent. The color scheme is a little inconsistent, though. This is kind of cool. I like the look of how that's done. That looks very professional. I would say for this icon, this looks a little less centered here than it does. Well, I guess this could be centered a little bit more. Bring it up and to the left ever so slightly, so it's slightly more centered for those. I don't have OCD. I took a test, but I have tendencies. So that's a nitpick, but I'd be consistent a little bit in the color scheme across platforms. Instagram. I think and this is a travel thing, because yeah, I was gonna say I think I follow your Instagram. So that seems off-brand. So if you have a different Instagram that is in the tech and gaming space, then link it. Otherwise, I'd probably just remove that because it's off-brand. Melanie Codes. So, meanie. That's funny. Just looking at your Twitter here, you don't have a pinned tweet. So what's showing up on your timeline is actually you retweeting somebody else. So what I recommend you consider doing is pinning a tweet. So for example, in my profile here, pinned tweet. It's very easy. Just click the three dots, pin to your profile. On mobile, I think it's a long press, and you can get that option. So if there's one particular piece of content you want to drive your Twitter audience towards, I think a pinned tweet is a good way to do that. So I would recommend a pinned tweet. You don't have... You mentioned that you're a YouTuber, but you don't have your YouTube channel linked up here. It's very easy to do that in editing your profile, so I recommend doing that with your custom URL. I mean, it's grad student in data science makes sense. That ties into coding. Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, I don't think does as much, and the fact that you're near Chicago is maybe not so relevant to the kind of content you create, I would imagine, anymore. I know previously it was really on brand with what you were making before about language and the etymology of words and things like that. So I think that, and again, a consistency of icon. Even though I do really like that picture, I think a consistency of icon across platform would be good. I think, like, it's funny because, like, that picture is really nice. This picture is more on brand because it's clearly showing the gaming element with the headset there. So using this or using the this icon here for Twitter, either of those would probably be good, even though I like the other picture more, just because this is more on brand. But the other one probably gets you more inappropriate messages, so maybe that's for the best. So anyways, yeah, you just wanted the header. That was the header. That was a quickie. Sorry, Cake Angel, I am out of time. You can contact me privately on Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, direct message, or Instagram if you'd like a paid review, which I currently charge about $25 US for. Yeah, we can work that out. Just wrapping things up. I understand that my dinner has been picked up, so I need to close things up before it gets here. Let's see. The header looks great, totally to the point. I agree. The color scheme is awesome. Yes, the color scheme is good. I've looked at like psychology of colors and stuff, and sort of blue is a trust color, and so you've got sort of a blue theme going through there. So blue encourages trust. A lot of airlines use it, for example. United, WestJet, because they want you to trust them. So I think from a color psychology, that's pretty good. I forget what purple is. From a psychological standpoint, but blue is pretty solid. Don't remember green either. It's been a while since I've read that stuff. How do you say Ray's beard is amazing in Danish? I wouldn't mind a review. Sadly, I'm not nearly as active with uploading as I should be, but I'm trying, and that's fair enough. In terms of like upload frequency, I recommend people shoot for once a week. Don't have a public upload schedule, and don't beat yourself up when you fall behind in whatever schedule you might have set for yourself. Ray's skeg, you're fantastic. Okay. I probably butchered that bad. But unfortunately, we don't have time for more reviews. But like I said, contact me privately, and you can do a paid one, or just subscribe with notifications on. Try to get to a live stream nice and early. I don't do these with any regularity, though, so I can't say when it will happen. But if you get to join us early, more chance of getting the early one. Make playlist babies. Sure. Learning a lot. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. That's what I'm here for. Even if your channel doesn't get a review, this is high value. Thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing is I try to speak in somewhat general terms for everybody. And definitely describe your playlist. We set up your playlist. You're given the field. Fill it out. It's an SEO opportunity. 100%. SEO opportunity. I like that. Wayne Gretzky said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that was being silly? Yeah, I could tell. It's hard sometimes to tell when John's being silly, but I've slowly figured it out over the years. Can you do mine, please? Sorry, Riley. I'm running out of time. But if you want to do a paid one, $25 US, contact me privately. Otherwise, turn on your notifications when you subscribe, and maybe you can catch a free one. I like trapping people by taking their instructions literally. It's a hobby. I've done that. I was working at an amusement park one time, and somebody walked in, and they asked me, how does this all work? Or no, what is all this? And I was like, 6 billion years ago, the first amino acid crawled out of the sea. And then I went through the entire evolution of life on Earth. To, I think, the dinosaurs. I started talking about the asteroid that was coming for the dinosaurs. She goes, no, how do I go on the rides? And I'm like, you just line up. I was a dick. But she didn't get mad. She smiled the whole time. But, yeah. So, the first amino acids formed the first protein, and eventually multi-celled organism took rise. I was pulling it out of my butt. I never even studied biology. I was a physics guy. But now it's funny because my kid does that to me sometimes now. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, well, there's a conflict in the Middle East right now. And I'm like, I mean, what are you doing? So that is just karma coming back at me. Or it was like, hey, what's happening? And he's just like, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a global pandemic. He's funny. Let's see here. YouTube's math is awful because things will vary across servers. That's exactly it. Devices, regions, when they update, when they pull from, what they're counting. It's like people who talk about their public watch hours versus watch time. And so like that, there's an explanation behind public watch hours is the watch hours that count towards monetization. Not all of your watch time does. If you're watching your own videos for whatever reason as part of like an editing process or something, that doesn't count as public watch hours. And anything that's viewed on the shorts shelf, that watch time doesn't count. So your watch hours could be higher than your public watch hours. That's why they're called different things, and you look at them in different places. Those will never align perfectly. They might, but probably not. Whereas other things like view counts, I mean, since the dawn of YouTube, they haven't been super consistent. If you want to go back really far, look at something called the 301 error back in the day. It wasn't an error code like 404. It was that view counts froze at, I think, 301 views. Although on my channel, it was like 310. And this is like going way back, like pre-2010, I think. And they would freeze there for like a week or something and then suddenly get unstuck. And so it would jump from like 300 to 1,000 overnight. And you're like, 700 people watched my video last night. No, actually, it was last 2 weeks, and that's a YouTube quirk. They fixed that years ago. It comes back every now and then in small degrees, but stuff like that, it's like you will drive yourself crazy and waste so much time that you could have spent doing keyword research, making better thumbnails, filming your next video, whatever. Sharing strategically on social media. Let's see here. Don't trim, it hurts your beard. Yeah, well, you know, the beard is my servant. I love a review. I started a little over a month ago. I do everything from my phone, so some of my stuff like Banner isn't great. Yeah, and that's the thing is I do very little on my phone. I film and upload my shorts on my phone. I track things. I do some keyword research with the TubeBuddy app, but on my phone I don't do a lot. I do recommend getting the TubeBuddy app on your phone. I don't think that's free. I think that's only paid. Yeah, D. Niman, I know, I haven't watched his stuff, but I know he focuses on mobile creation. So that might be someone worth checking out. But yeah, mobile is not really my area. Hope you get to check me out. Yes, I did. Question: how necessary is it to have an actual channel trailer? I'm just using one of my popular videos and was wondering if I should make a real trailer. I think it's a good idea. It's a real opportunity to introduce yourself and explain yourself and explain your why. And so, is it necessary? No. Is it an opportunity? Hell yeah. And I think we got to take every opportunity we can, and I think it looks more professional. You know, you go to a lot of channels, a lot of professional channels, and like you can go to like Pat the NES Punk's channel, Pat Contry. His is longer, but he explains like all the different shows on his channel, and he explains it in an easy to watch, friendly manner. So like that's one I think like you can check out mine on Vacation Impossible, and mine I did the the fast cuts voiceover why we do what we do thing. And so you could check out mine if you're looking for like that 90-second, an example of that, and maybe it'll inspire you to create yours. Or yeah, if you like, you could do a longer one if you don't want, if you find it hard to cut it down. But I do think that there's value in it. But I mean, necessary. It's not necessary to be on YouTube at all. So necessary is a very high bar. What's necessary? Don't do sub for sub. Don't steal other people's content. Don't re-upload the same video multiple times. That's what's necessary. Much beyond that, the only thing that's necessary is follow the terms of service. Everything else is gravy. If you wanted to use that litmus test. I hate trailers that are too long. Yeah, well, and the thing is there's a difference between trailers and intros. So, yeah, trailers can be too long, but if they're super engaging, you don't even notice the time passing. Like, I think Pat the NES Punks is like that. But, yeah, I think short is good. But then there's intros, and intros need to be savagely short. For the love of God, no more than 10 seconds. PlaceIt can help you make those. I think I've got a link in the description that should save you 15% if you're looking to make an animated intro or whatever. They've got templates that you can upload your own image to, change the text. They've even got music you can use. That's like $12 a month. And making an intro takes like 5 minutes. It's fantastic. So my intros I make there. Also my end screens, and sometimes I do interstitials where it's like, if I'm going through a list, I might want to have like an animated like tip number 3 and have like a plane go by or something. I use them for all that kind of stuff. Great tip of just barely going on Instagram. Cool, I think it's a great opportunity. Partnership with a couple tool companies now, which is fantastic. That's awesome. Doing about, so in the neighborhood of $300 a month on AdSense. That's solid. I'm pulling around 175 right now myself, 150. Or no, 75. Before the pandemic, I was pulling in 150 a month, but right now I'm at 50% of what I was doing before the pandemic. But once we're able to start cruising again, I've got a plan. In the 3 months before the pandemic hit, I was firing on all thrusters. I had it all figured out. I had my SEO on point, my thumbnails, my subjects, my video. I planned. I was editing. I was uploading on the go, and it was like I went from like $50 a month to $150 in like overnight. I had it all figured out, and then the pandemic hit me like a truck. But as soon as we're back, I'm going back to that plan, and it's slowly happening on its own as some of the things are coming back based on like SEO. Because like the SEO I did on my older videos, this still holds. That's the views when you snooze. If you invest time in doing SEO, that will perform for you without being pushed manually by you on like social media and stuff. But yeah, when it comes back, going. Affiliates are epic on this channel, though you haven't got a lot of affiliate links, I have to admit. It's just, I found a lot of products that really work, and the thing is, I'm totally honest about it. I've been introduced to products that didn't work, and I don't put links to those things. One time I reviewed a microphone that failed. You can watch that video. It's a little funny, I think, where I test it out. It's actually kind of funny. That company contacted me recently. They want me to review another microphone. And so I'm currently in negotiations with them about that, possibly. Hello from Montana. I really enjoy southern Montana. I passed through there on a road trip, a couple years ago, which I really enjoyed. Where was it I stayed? I forget where exactly. But I passed through it twice, and the second time I went to Great Falls, and Great Falls was a little rough, honestly. But the where the heck did we stay at that Motel 6? I don't know. This video's on my travel channel, but I do enjoy. I enjoy southern Montana quite a bit. Central Montana's fine. Northern Montana, yeah, I showed Social Blade, which is totally free. 10 things I like about Ray's beard. That would be a hard list to populate, I imagine. White Shadow said hi. Brampton Gardner said thank you. Yeah, consent to film. A very small channel. Definitely need a review. Hopefully some of those tips that I did with the review help. These reviews are great, honestly. Thank you, Jade. Jade. Oh, you were on my radar recently for something. I think you'd commented on something. No, you messaged me. Right. I asked if you wanted to make a tutorial. Not a tutorial. A testimonial. So yeah, that's actually another thing. If anyone who gets any value out of this and has seen some success based on the tips that we've done, if you wanted to make some sort of a testimonial, that would be really fantastic. Maybe like a short video, like channel trailer length, 30 to 90 seconds, or whatever you want, 20 seconds, 5 minutes, I don't care. If you want to shoot a quick little video talking about how Small YouTubers Boost has helped you, that would actually be really helpful, because that's something that I've been advised to put together. The problem is, like with Ace of Vegas and some other people, when they got really big, because like they blew up because my tips worked for them, they got so busy that it was hard for them to find time to make a testimonial. So I don't know when to ask. But I think that might be a good thing. Partly because as much as I get the idea of selling yourself, I don't like talking myself up. I don't like putting labels on myself. I never call myself a YouTube guru or anything like that, or an expert. I fastidiously avoid those terms, because people have very specific expectations when you use those terms about yourself. And everyone's like bar for that is somewhere different. And so I don't want to deal with those expectations. I'm just a guy trying to help people. And so I make guarantees about products. You pay for a channel review, you get a 45 to 60 minute video on this channel with links and action items. That I can guarantee. I can't guarantee subs, views, comments, any of that stuff, partly because that would violate YouTube's terms. But when you start calling yourself an expert, they're like, you gave me a tip and I don't make $1 million yet. And it's like, we never agreed to that, but they had it in their head. Anyways, got to wrap things up real quick here. Just quickly scrolling through. Okay. Anyways, I gotta go. According to my phone, my food is here. So thank you so much for tuning in. What did we do here? We did a little over 2 hours, so awesome. Thank you so much. I have no earthly idea when I'll be able to do this again, but subscribe with notifications on so that you can catch us when we do. Please click like if you found this video helpful. Comment in the comments section if you're watching this on the replay. Let me know if you have any questions, any videos or tutorials or anything that you want to see. And I talked a lot today about SEO, so since I am the creator and owner of Vacation Impossible, I like to end these live streams with your mission. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go and watch our trilogy of videos on SEO, search engine optimization. We will show you with specific examples and tools how to do SEO better for your titles is the first video, descriptions is the second, and tags is the third. Go check that out if you haven't already. That is your mission if you choose to accept it. Thank you so much for watching. This was a blast. I love doing these. I hope to do it again soon. And we'll see you in our Facebook group. Have a great day, everybody. And this live stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds.